Well, welcome everybody to the NTT INDYCAR Series warm-up show live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is round 5 of this 2025 season. And what better place to be than the racing capital of the world and this phenomenal circuit. Let's have a little look at how the weekend has unraveled so far here on the road course. Some people taking it a little bit too far, others really stretching the limits of their car and where they can brake, where they can find the limit, and it turned out for the Rahal team that would prove prescient.
Yeah, despite plenty of lockups and issues with the RLL drivers in practice, this was Devlin DeFrancesco. We saw Graham Rahal in the grass earlier, but as drivers stretch the limits, you're right, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan looking very fast this weekend, but even a 6-time champion, James, having issues in turn 7.
Look, this is a track these drivers have a lot of experience at. You got to push those limits to find that ultimate performance, and these three did just that in qualifying. First time in team history, guys. All 3 RLL cars were in the Fast 6, but still nobody could touch Palou.
Palou, back-to-back pole positions. Let's have a look at how his statistics match up against arguably the greatest of all time over their first 86 races. 26 versus 14 wins, 11 versus 10 second places, an average finish of 6.8 to 7.5, 3 championships apiece. These are the drivers that we're looking out for today. James, you've picked Will Power.
Here's why. Will Power finally got the qualifying monkey off his back. No, he didn't make it into the Firestone Fast 6, but at least he got all the way up to P7. You look at Sundays, he's plus 23 positions so far on Sundays in races this year. Starting from 7th, he's won here more than anyone else in the history of this circuit. I got eyes on Power.
Townsend, you picked Scott.
And I picked Dixon for a reason. Today we have a different tire rule than we've ever had with the alternate tires. You've got to run 2 softs and 2 hard compound Firestones. When a new strategy plays out, there's nobody better than the 9 team and Scott Dixon. Who's your guy?
I picked VK. Brilliant last time out at Barber Motorsports Park. Picked up his first ever and so far only IndyCar win on this very circuit. Starts way out of position today, so I'm expecting him to get his elbows out and make some moves. Welcome, folks, to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with me and him, where I'm Will, he's Townsend, and he's James, and warm-up has begun. Guys, it is great to be back at the racing capital of the world. We are here on the Goo Goo Dolls stage. We're the closest to heaven that I've ever been, and I don't want to go home right now.
Well, take a whiff of the excellence that surrounds us here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Do you mean James Hinchcliffe by that?
Well, it's lovely. Nicely done. We got cars ripping down this long front straightaway. It is Saturday of the Indianapolis Grand Prix, and we're about to find out if for the first time this season, can anybody really outmuscle Alex Palou. He starts on pole. He's been so dominant, but at the end of this long straightaway, James, is the heaviest brake zone all season. Sometimes they go 5 wide. It could create issues for Alex.
It absolutely could. I mean, you're starting pole here. You're almost at a little bit of a disadvantage because of how long that run is down to turn 1. The cars behind you get an awful big draft. We saw last year Dev DeFrancesco coming from 5th place. He took the lead with a ballsy outside pass into turn 1. Look, when you're starting pole here, you can almost be at a disadvantage.
Well, who did he pass?
He passed Graham Rahal,
who was also starting second, just as he is today.
And Graham is starting second. Yes, history is doomed to repeat itself.
But not, to my point, he not only passed, but he bumped Graham Rahal on the way in, and that's what we saw in the Indy Next race yesterday. You know, a lot of opportunity for contact down there as it narrows down. But let's take a closer look at this Indy GP circuit. It starts with arguably a backwards run down the front straightaway here at Indy into that 90-degree turn 1. Heavy brake zone from 185 miles an hour.
So much of this racetrack is about compromise. How you take speed through turn 1 to set up for turn 2. How much entry speed in 4 to get the good run through the 5-6 chicane down this long back straight into turn 7. Top speed of 180 miles an hour in the SSERT Bell. So much lap time.
You've got to moto those curbs heavy, 8, 9, and 10, and then a really important exit through the oval turn 2, going to the road course turn 12. Another heavy braking zone, and it leads to a wicked fast turn 14. Easy to make a big mistake there and lose your very important run down the front straightaway.
It's a great track. someone who's out there actually on track at the moment, not in the car. He has to wait another few days for that, for 500 practice. It's our very own, actually, as we've got someone coming into pit lane. It's Ferrucci with smoke billowing out the back of his car.
And a lot of fluid on the racetrack on pit in right now.
So red flag is out for the 14, which is blown up out on track. He's managed to bring it back in. Let's get a replay here. A little look at what's gone down. Yeah, it's just right bank.
Right bank.
Uncharacteristic. We don't see those kind of failures at this stage. I mean, these engines have been in development for, over a decade now. Both manufacturers doing a great job squeezing little bits more, but that's a pretty big one. It's pretty atypical for what we've seen here.
The internals are now externals.
And guys, 20 minutes left in warm-up. You've got kitty litter probably going to go down over there. That's going to take a good 10 minutes to sort out right now. This is a really important warm-up to get a read on both used reds and the harder black tire. So we're going to have a real curveball going in the race with a lot of unknown.
We were going to throw to Jack Harvey, but there's no one going past him on track at the moment. So we'll just hold out on that. Jack, go get yourself a lemonade or something, and we'll come to you in a minute.
Well, look, guys, this is a big blow for Santino and the 14 crew. They've had some pretty good pace. They had some mechanical issues in practice, rebound really nicely in qualifying to get himself up into, 11th position. So that's a solid starting point. We know that he can muscle his way up there as well, but to lose this kind of track time with, like you say, Townsend, all this important tire data to gather, that's a big hit.
Yeah. Everybody's going to have to get jacked up for the race and ready to go. Speaking of jacks, let's fire off to somewhere in the S's, I think. How you doing out there, bud?
Good morning, lads. I'm actually just amongst the fans right now, and that's what always makes the Indianapolis Motor Speedway so special. I was going to say we're going to follow the cars on track. There's no cars on track. Really a bit of a bummer. But I just do love this whole section. Turn 7, probably the second. It may be the best overtaking spot. But 8, 9, 10, you talk about precision, accuracy. These drivers need to be absolutely on point. I love the way you see some different lines, the way they use all of the curbs. And in race scenarios, actually turn 10 can also be an overtaking spot, leading on to quite a long back straight into 12.
To bring in a good friend of ours, a man who has had a change in roles this year. Jay Frye, welcome to the show, President of RLL. Your motto, I can't actually say on air because it's very early in the morning.
There's a PG version too.
I will paraphrase it as make something happen, get something done.
That's it.
It seems like you're doing that already. What a performance from your guys this weekend. All three in the top 5. Sensational.
Yeah, well, that was amazing. I think somebody said yesterday that was the first time in the team's history that they did that. I think before they've had 2 cars, but not all 3. So just a magnificent day, magnificent effort. And it was really a pretty seamless day. I mean, it was one of those days that just everything went really well, went really right. So momentum is a real thing. We got to capitalize on today's momentum.
I'm going to move this closer to your mouth because with the cars coming out, it gets very loud.
Hey, Jay,
this is unusual, yes.
We have fun on the set throwing football around in our spare time, and I can't help but see Roger Goodell and the commissioner's name on the football and think of you. You were the commissioner of this sport not too long ago, early February. You're the president. You're the boss of the series. You're the prison warden. Now you're a prisoner. You're like the Les Snead now. You're a general manager of RLL. What a bizarre swap. What's it been like for you?
Well, it's been amazing. We had a really good 10-year run at INDYCAR. Very proud of what we accomplished. It was a great effort, but a paddock-wide effort. Again, a lot of really good things that happened over the 10 years. Very proud of that. But this is kind of, remember I did this before in NASCAR for 20-some years, so it's kind of like riding a bike. We're back on the bike, having a lot of fun. The RLL group, that's really hard to say, RLL, it's a great group of people. There's a great team, great history, amazing ownership, amazing commitment from the ownership group. So it's all there, right? We just got to capitalize on that.
Big changes to the group over the winter, though. I was talking to the gang before the season started. Obviously, 2 new drivers in Deb and Louis, but also behind the scenes as well in terms of management, even before you came on board, in terms of mechanics and engineers and crew chiefs. How much has your experience been able to help meld that team together?
Well, it's something that obviously we're working on every day. When I got there, it was very simple. I mean, there was no uncomfortable moment in any way. I already knew a lot of the people. I knew a lot of the people by name. And then you know how it works out here. You knew a lot of the people by face, but you might not know their name. You know people by their nickname, but you don't know their name. And there was a handful of people I didn't know. So it's been great getting to know everybody. Again, there's a really good group of people there. And one of the things we did, talk about football, one of the first team meetings we had, we played the clip from Any Given Sunday, the inches speech, Al Pacino,
Oh, nice.
where there's inches everywhere. You got to go get them. So that's really motorsports and what we got to do in general. We got to go get these inches. So we were fortunate enough to get them yesterday. But again, the sport is also very humbling. You know, we were 4/10 off the big prize, so that's pretty humbling. So again, we got a ways to go, but a really good group of people. We've got some great partners. Great commitment from the ownership group. So we're gonna be okay.
Jay, I got to work very closely with you in your previous role when I was in my previous role, and for me, one of the things that always stood out was you always had a plan. You had your 1-year plan, you had your 3-year plan, you had your 10-year plan. You're in this role now with RLL. What's the plan? How do we help bring this team up from an occasional, day like we had yesterday to regularly getting all 3 cars in the Fast 6 fighting for wins?
Well, thank you. Again, that's something we're working on, because remember when we first got to IndyCar, it took us about 6 months to come up with a plan for 17 and beyond. So, again, the cool thing about it is it's all there. I mean, the facility is, I've been to every Cup shop in the here in F1 shops all over the world. The facility is second to none. It's amazing. It's the commitment is amazing. So it's all there. It's just the inches speech kind of sums it up. There's all these little things around us, and we just got to go get them. And again, there's a really good group of people that can do that. So we've been there a month, I guess, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We're going to have a really exciting announcement next week. So something that we've already started to work on that could hopefully continue the momentum we got from this weekend. So we should be in good shape.
So Jay, let's talk about the plan today. Alex Palou in a league of his own right now. The next 6 cars are 3 RLL and 3 Team Penske. Think about that. You versus Team Penske for best of the rest right now. Any extra motivation for you knowing you guys are going up against the best?
Well, the motivation is obviously to get all 3 of our cars through turn 1 first, right? You got to do first things first. So, that's, again, it's amazing to have our 3. Again, I mentioned earlier, I think that we've never done that before, this team, to have all 3 cars in the Fast 6, the Firestone Fast 6. So that's spectacular. Again, we got to capitalize on that achievement from yesterday. Today's today. It's a new day. We got to get through turn 1 together, cleanly, and just let it rip from there.
Are your guys ready to fight?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Love that. Jay, thank you for your time. If anyone can make something happen and get something done, this man right here. We'll be right back.